Hello everyone, welcome to Tkinter Hub. From previous videos, we are working on this project, so we have done many things. We have created student login page. And also we have created admin login page. And also we have created switch pages functionality. Also we have created create account page. From last video, we have created and added some functionalities in create account page. We have created confirmation dialog box, which will ask confirmation to user for switch back into home page. You can see create account page switched. And also we have created open and add student picture functionality. And also we have created user input validation functionality. This complete project playlist link will be available in the description box. In this video, we will create and add few more functionalities. And also in this video, we will create database, and we will add students' data in database. So we will start from checking a valid email address format. In case student entered invalid format email address, then student will not receive any admin announcements via email address. Let's start to create. Here I am creating a function, which will take a email address argument, and then it will check given email address format. So we will use regular expression module, for check email address format. Let's import regular expression module. Regular expression module comes with Python, no need to install it. This is a regular expression pattern. Using this pattern we will check email address format. You can get this pattern with this function. Code download link will available in description box. So we will match this pattern with given email address. If the email address format will not correct, then re.match function will return none. Otherwise, it will return re.match object. Here we will return results of matching. Let's use this function for check student entered email address format. We will use this function, where we are checking user input validation. If this function will return none, then means email address format is invalid. And also we need to convert email address into lower letters. In case student enter email address in capital letters, then regular expression pattern will consider it invalid format. Here email address will pass in lower letters. Also we will highlight entry box if the email address will invalid. Also we will display message box. Now let's test it. Let's if I enter invalid format email address. You can see email address considered invalid. Let's if I enter correct email address format. Now you can see, this time email address not considered invalid. Let's see another example of invalid email address format. So we have created check invalid email address format functionality. Now we will create a function, which will generate a ID number. This ID number will include in 6 digits of numbers. This ID number will automatically generated. When user will open create account page, a new ID number will generated. Every time if the user open and close create account page, a new ID number will generated in every reopen. Once a student account created, with a ID number, then the same ID number will not generate again. Let's code to create. Generated underscore ID. This is a string variable of this function. In this variable we will store generated ID number. For generate 6 digits of numbers, we will use Python random module. Python random module comes with Python, no need to install it. Here I will run for loop, in range. This for loop will run 6 times. Here I will concatenate numbers in string form, in a string variable. We will use random.randint function, for generate 6 digits of numbers. Basically randint function, guess a number from a given range. We will get a number, from 0 to 9. Randint function will return a single number, from 0 to 9. This for loop, will run 6 times. In every for loop iteration, randint function will return a number. In each of iteration, we will concatenate a number in generated underscore ID variable. Notice this is a string variable, and randint function will return an integer number. We need to convert randint returned number into string, for concatenate. After complete for loop iteration, here I will print generated ID number. Let's call this function, for see their results. I will call this function, in below student ID number section. Here you can see ID number generated. If I will switch create account page again, you can see a new ID number generated again. In every reopen of create account page, will generate a new ID number again. Now we will display generated ID number over here. Here we will set student ID entry box state normal. In the function, I have set student ID entry box state normal. because here we have set state read-only. In the read-only state, entry box will not able to insert or enter any text. Here we have set student ID entry box state normal. Then we can insert generated ID number in entry box. After setting entry box state normal, we will clear entry box. Now we will insert generated ID number in student ID entry box. After inserting ID number in entry box, we will set student ID entry box state read-only. In entry box read-only state, user cannot edit generated ID number. Now let's test it. Here you can see generated ID number displaying. If I will switch create account page again, you can see a new ID number generated again. In every reopen of create account page, will generate a new ID number again. Now if a student will create account with an generated ID number, then the student account associated same ID number will not generate again. But there is less chances of generate a same ID number, in which ID number student have created account. But anyways, we will handle this problem. For handle this problem, we need to create database. And also we need to add some students' data in database. For create database, we will use SQLite3 module. Let's import SQLite3 module. SQLite3 module comes with Python, no need to install it. Also we will use OS module. In the init database function, we will check an initialize database. Using os.path.exists function, we will check database file as exists or not. Basically os.path.exists function, take a file name argument. And if the given file name will exists in current working directory, then it will return true value. And this file name is not exists in my current working directory. This condition will be false. So in the else condition, we will create database file. SQLite3.connect function, take a database file name argument, and simply it will create database file, and establish connection with database, for execute queries from database. Connection.commit function, will commit transactions with database. Connection.close function, will close established connection, with database. Before run this code I want to show you, my current working directory. Here is our project Python file located. Here you can see, here is no any database file exists. Let's run this code. We will call this function, when program will be completely started. No any error appear. Here you can see, a database file created, in my current working directory. Now we need to create, database table and columns. Connection.cursor function, it will help us to execute SQL queries, and also it will help us to fetch data from database. Here we will execute SQL query. Cursor.execute function, it will execute SQL query. Before execute any SQL query, I want to show you what is inside in database file. You can see, database file is completely empty. Here I have add SQL query. Basically this query will create a table in database. Table name will be data. And here is defined, table columns. In these columns, student data will store. Now we will delete this database, which we have created earlier. This database I have created for just show you example. We will create a new database, with table and columns. I have deleted database. Let's run this code for create a new database. Here you can see, database created and also table and columns created. We have created init database function, which can create database if the database file will not exist. Now we will create a function, which will add student data in database. I will use this code for insert data in database. So in the add data function, we will take these following student information, in arguments. We will add student data, from these given arguments values. Let's write query for insert data in database. Table name is data. Here we will pass columns values. Notice here, if the column data type is text, then the column value should pass in single quotation marks. We will pass these columns values, in orderly. Pic_data is a binary data argument of student picture. We cannot insert binary data directly in pic_data column, so we need to use SQL placeholder. And the value of pic_data column placeholder, we will pass here. We will pass pic data argument value to list. I have missed this argument to pass in the column, so we need to pass these columns in orderly. As we have defined these columns in orderly, you can see phone underscore number column is between gender and class column. So we will pass phone underscore number column value between gender and class column. So this function is ready. Now let's see how we will use this function. So we will use this function in create account page, where student will enter their information for create account. Here in the input validation function, we will use add data function. After checking all inputs, if the all inputs will valid, then here we will add student data in database. So we will pass all argument values. These argument values will be student entered informations. Now we need student picture binary data for pass pic underscore data argument. Now let's see how we will get student open picture binary data. In the previous video, we have created open student picture functionality. And we were storing student open picture path in this variable. Simply using student picture path, we will get picture binary data. Pic underscore data is a binary variable. In this variable we will store student picture binary data. Here I am checking student picture path is not empty, in case student will not open picture for add. Here I will resize student provided picture. Because student provided picture dimension can be larger, that picture will not compatible with interface. So we will resize student picture 100 by 100. Here I will save resized picture. Now we will get binary data of resized image file. Here I will open resized image file in read binary mode. Resized image file binary data, I will put in this variable. And in the else condition, if student will not provide picture for add their account, then we will add this profile picture instead of student picture. In the else condition, we will read this image file binary. And also we will display message box, after adding data in database. Now let's test it. You can see message box appear. But now how we will know, student data is added in database. Here in the init database function, we are calling this function, when program is started. Here in the if condition, when database file exists, here we will fetch all data from database. Here I will write a query for fetch all data from database. Table name is data. This query will fetch all data from database. Cursor.fetchAll function will return results of query. You can see, when I run program, here is fetched data printed. Here is ID number, password, name, age, gender, contact, class, email. And also here is student picture binary data. Now we will create a function, which will check generated ID number, is already registered or added in database. Because in the same ID number, have two or more, students' accounts will create confusions. Let's solve this problem. This argument will be generated ID number which we will check. Here I will write a query, which will check given ID number as exists in database. ID underscore number is a database column which we will target. This query will check from database. If the given ID number will exists in database, then the existing ID number will returned. Cursor.fetchAll function will return results of query. Let's see how we will use this function for check existing ID number. Here we will use this function, where we are generating ID number. Let's test this function, which we have created for check existing ID number. Here I will check new generated ID number. We will print returned value from this function. You can see empty value returned, if the ID number not exists in database. Let's if I check with existing ID number, which we have added in database. This ID number is already exists in database. Let's check this ID number. You can see existing ID number returned, means existing ID number detected. Now let's see how we will stop generating existing ID number. Here I will check generated ID number, in if condition. If this function will return empty value, then means generated ID number already not exists. If this condition will true, then we will display generated ID number. And in the else condition, if the generated ID number is already exists, then we will again generate a new ID number. If the generate ID number function will call again, then it will check again for existing ID number. But there is less chances of generate a same ID number, in which ID number student have created account. And that's for this video. In the next part of video we will continue to creating this project. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe our channel for more videos.